It's a great time to be a gamer right now. 2025 is already off to a great start in terms of video games, with releases like Spider-Man 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 being adored by gamers so far. And with other exciting games on the horizon, I just had to talk about one of my most anticipated games that is picking up a lot of steam this year. I mean, it even won the most anticipated game award. So yes, I am of course talking about none other than Phantom Blade Zero. Developed by S-Game, who also made the Rainblood series, Phantom Blade Zero is a continuation and a spiritual successor of that game series. So much stuff to talk about. Here are my top 5 things that I am looking forward to in Phantom Blade Zero. Starting with number 5, the world design. Almost immediately, the world design reminds me of the Dark Souls games. It's semi-open world, it's got non-linear world design, with interconnected regions. Players can explore diverse environments and uncover hidden secrets. This game takes place in the Phantom world during the Ming Dynasty, similar to how Black Myth Wukong is also set in the Ming Dynasty. And like Wukong, this world uniquely blends elements of wuxia, a genre focusing on martial arts and chivalry. Where it diverts from Wukong is its steampunk, cyberpunk aesthetic, mixed in with some dark fantasy and horror themes. We can expect to explore notable locations like Raven Village, Mount Baishan, and more. The game is graphically beautiful and eerily haunting at the same time, with overgrown cemeteries, dilapidated mountain temples, gothic bamboo forests. The atmosphere and world design is off the charts so far. This world is filled with beastly assassins who all wear masks to conceal their identity, creating this cool, isolated effect on the player that makes for a unique playing experience. It's got a sick soundtrack so far. Looking forward to exploring more of the world. What I'm slightly more interested in though is number 4, this game's story. As mentioned before, this is like a spiritual successor to the Rainblood series, and those games have a relatively good amount of lore and depth to them. In the first Rainblood game, you also play as Soul, this assassin who works for this shadowy organization. The game took place in an infected village called Peng. The narrative was brutal and gritty. It was a tale of these two former allies now turned enemies, Soul and Shang, and a tale about how one's past actions can catch up to them, and how hope is seemingly bleak. Phantom Blade Zero seems to be going down the same path, with very likely the same main antagonist being Shang, but unlike the first Rainblood game, Soul now has 66 days to live instead of 51. So hey, that's wonderful. He might make it to Christmas. But yeah, I'm seeing narrative parallels. This story has the potential to be extremely gritty and dark, and I'm here for it. And there seems to be a lot of attention paid to the details in this game so far. So I'm excited to see how the story expands. Moving on to number 3, I am excited for future installments of this game, which are almost certainly gonna happen. The public's consensus of this game so far has been overwhelmingly positive. It won an award for most anticipated game. It's going to sell loads. Maybe not as much as Black Myth Wukong because that's already an established IP, but still I think this game is going to do big numbers. Perhaps similar to Black Myth Wukong, they'll also add DLC in the future. And once this game hits the PCs, you know the mods are gonna go crazy. The game looks insane as it is. Imagine what a sequel would look like. They could give us more weapons, bigger maps, better bosses. It could go crazy. Phantom Blade 1, I'm manifesting your existence. Let's get into the meat and potatoes though. We all know why we're buying this game for. Number 2, the combat. This game has been described as a mix of Sekiro and Ninja Gaiden and Devil May Cry, and it very certainly seems that way. It reminds me a lot of Devil May Cry, with the game allowing you to switch weapons mid-combo. Reminds me of my DMC5 days, which was actually not too long ago. The combat looks insane. It's fast-paced, combo-driven, stylish and fluid. It looks like a classic martial arts film almost. You get a bunch of weapons, including 2 primary weapons and 2 alternate weapons called Phantom Edges. You've got the regular health bar, but also this unique Sha Chi bar, which works like a stamina or mana bar. It's the thing that you're going to be using to make combos, special moves, and your weapons also have their own separate Sha Chi bars, which after accumulating enough Sha Chi, allows the player to do these special power surge moves. These are really strong abilities basically. Phantom Edges are your secondary weapons. They are crazy. You've got stuff like the Savage Axe, Ink Cut, a giant tiger head, a hand cannon, a longbow, and then for your primary weapons, you have that regular longsword, those two small daggers, the venomous soft blade, the white python longsword and red viper short sword, and many more weapons with different lengths, shapes, and weights. There's very likely going to be a skill progression system as well. Enemies also have their own Sha Chi bar, same with bosses. It's gonna go crazy. This game isn't gonna be released until fall of 2026, so there are still a lot of changes that they could make. And one of the newer things that they have added is that they are going to add a extremely hard difficulty mode, because one of the feedbacks that players gave the developers was that this game kind of felt a little bit too easy. Specifically, boss fights were pretty quick and players just didn't find them that challenging. It's been said that the developers want this game to be very accessible to players, so that definitely risks this game being too easy. But with the addition of the extremely hard mode, hopefully that will satiate more veteran players and allow for a better, quote-unquote, balanced gaming experience. I love that the developers are actively listening to player feedback. That's another reason why I think people should look out for this game. Majority of the bosses shown so far wear masks, same with the regular enemies. As mentioned before, I really liked that. However, I'm also glad that not all of the bosses wear masks, like Jade Dancer for example, and also probably Shang, the big bad. I love the design of Commander Cleave and Huang Xing, and that one big muscular guy with the hand cannon, and of course, the chief disciple of the 7 stars. That fight was just next level. I can't wait to see what else they have for us. The combat looks great, and it's only gonna get better from here. Now, the number one thing that I'm looking forward to in Phantom Blade Zero is its multiplayer mode. Because what's cooler than one person kicking ass? 2 people kicking ass. I don't think this detail is that well publicized, but Phantom Blade Zero will have a multiplayer mode where players can clear out dungeons together. I'm not sure if it's going to be limited to just that, but hopefully they expand more on the co-op mode. But there are also going to be other modes like boss rush modes, roguelike challenges. They are thinking past the base game and already have a lot of endgame content for us. The game will also probably have a new game plus and will offer about 20 to 30 hours of main story content with an additional 20 to 30 hours of side content. Plus all the other modes. I'm sure we're going to be playing this game for weeks and weeks and weeks. Can you imagine just playing this game with your friends and just seeing them backflip off of an enemy in the distance? That's very sick. And that is why it is at number 1. Phantom Blade Zero looks absolutely amazing. If you would like to support this channel, please consider becoming a channel member. Press the join button or the link in the description below, and for the equivalent of $2 a month, you'll get access to badges, emojis, and your username displayed at the end of every video, like this. Thank you for your consideration. Back to the video. But that is just my opinion. What do you think about Phantom Blade Zero? What aspect are you looking forward to the most? Have you played the Rainblood games? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read your responses. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.